Live. It looks like we're live, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clifford Bonet, and welcome to the CliffNotes Project presents another week, another Monday live. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse. It's been a long day, Boston Power Hour. But I am here with you know who. Talk about it.
Well, I mean, it's been a long weekend because you spent time with me yesterday at the Pats alumni game with the greats. I mean, you had a whole full day with the spiking, not just one little hour. That's it. That's what ends up happening. But I feel good. I feel excited because the Patriots are back. We've been talking about it, Cliff, the entire time since we started this, how the Chargers game was going to be the turning point of the season.
That's right.
It ended up being a huge W for the New England Patriots. We'll get into that a little bit later and talk more about the game. But yesterday, on Sunday, there was something a little bit more important that I saw that bugged me, and I kind of alluded to the time was about to come, Cliff, and we saw it.
You want to go there, huh?
Because I want to start.
I have something for you. I have something for you if that's okay. It's a photo. You know, I like to capture pictures if it's not with my camera, but with other people's stuff. Don't get pissed off, but I'm sorry. This guy.
So, here's the thing. Stefan Gilmore makes his debut with the Carolina Panthers yesterday. He was on the PUP till week 7. It was week 8. He came off the PUP right at week 7. He needed a week of practice. He goes in there. That catch right there was the game-winning interception for the Carolina Panthers.
Oops.
So everyone was talking about the Gilmore situation in terms of, we needed to keep him. We need to sign him. The Gilmore revenge tour started yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it again later on this week. But when you see something like that, and Stefan Gilmore gets that game-winning interception, but you're paying somebody on the team that I said was going to retire, and he did, and he came back, and you're paying him week after week.
Wait a minute.
And you get to keep him.
Wait a second here.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Wait a second. Wait a minute. There's no way. Because I know you said a few things. For whatever reason, if it's happened.
You saw me if you follow me on Instagram, the Spike King, and you've seen it, and I had even put it on Twitter, Spike King 76, and I had my camera out, and I said, "Look at this play! Look at this play! He didn't even move, and it ended up being a 70-yard run."
Oh my God! I think you're talking about this guy.
Dante Hightower.
Oh my God! He is talking about this guy.
$12 million, Dante Hightower.
Look at those stats.
This is from yesterday. 3 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. Now look you're paying this guy $12 million this year. Stefan Gilmore's only getting paid $5 million. There was some animosity in terms of money because Gilmore wanted money. And if you were a smart GM, you'd probably cut ties with the guy who opted out last year, who didn't want to play, and he's coming back and it's more like Slow Tower than High Tower.
Hold on, B.
Who's
our GM?
Bill Belichick.
Okay, all right, just go.
But we can look at it and say, you're not going to cut a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He means so much to the organization. I get all that. But I'd rather have Stefan Gilmore than Dante Hightower. Pick or choose right now. Looking at you at home. If you're watching this, no matter what time you're watching this, who would you rather have this season for the rest of the year? Dante Hightower at $12 million or Stefan Gilmore for $5 million? That's the difference. And you know what's funny, Cliff? I saw a clip that came up. Yeah, there he is, that guy. I'd rather have him. Hightower had a nice push against the O-lineman and threw him down. Yeah, he had one play later on. Doesn't matter. You got juked. You should have had it. You had enough open space in between that he could have made the tackle. My fat ass could have made that tackle. And you let a 70-yard run turn into 7 points right off the bat.
Yeah, it hurt. It did hurt.
Everyone saw that. Everyone's on the same page. And I think more people, Cliff, are starting to come around. Yes, Hightower didn't retire, but I think more people are starting to come around and say, Babs, you kind of had something in your head. You kind of saw something going on. I'm not trying to force this guy into retirement. It's just the guy fucking sucks. He's not the same player as he once was. Is he going to give you 1 play, 2 plays a game? Possibly, but we want to see it over and over again all season long.
What about, and I don't want to jump ahead, but you know what? This is what we do here. What if we do make it to the playoffs? He's pretty key during those games. He's really good during the playoffs.
Good, dude. Let him whip out his cock and just fucking slap me across the face. I want that to happen. I want to be proven wrong. It doesn't bother me. I'm a fan at the end of the day. But we cannot see this play out over and over again, week after week, of Hightower making these mistakes. Yeah, he had a great game against Houston. Everyone wants to suck his dick after that. Who cares? It's 1 game. We're in week 9 now.
So you're saying you're looking for players that produce.
Yes, exactly.
Or
Or this guy, great signing, by the way. Red Sleeves, Mr. Red Sleeves, Matt Judon. 5 tackles, a sack and a half, no forced fumbles or interceptions, but such a difference maker on that team. Comes in here. He deserves the money that he's getting paid right now.
So you want to show him the money. Show him the money, you're saying.
You know what's funny, Cliff, is that play that led to the 14 points, right? Because Hightower led up that big run. The next defensive series, let's say for the Patriots, Hightower wasn't out there. That guy was out there. It was in the Chargers' own end zone area. He had a QB pressure. Almost had a sack. He almost had a safety.
Yes.
It was close. Remember we were watching that. So and he ended up forcing Herbert had to force the ball out. So he's just such a difference maker. There's your Hightower. That's like your Hightower. That's your position player.
So he's going to replace Hightower, essentially. Not position for position, but impact player. Impact player.
I don't care about the Hightower, what he can mold in the locker room, this and that. He gave up on the team last year. He opted out. He didn't want to be a part of the team. He was away. You bring him back. He's not the same player. Cut ties. That's it.
Okay, so fair enough. The defense did okay. Hightower didn't do well. Judon did his thing. The red sleeves were out. I think you gotta make something up about that. Just bring the sleeves out. That's why I wore red today. But
wore red today.
There was a gentleman who we'd say the past few weeks was playing fairly good as far as rookies are concerned.
Yeah.
Small clue. If you still don't know what I'm talking about, this particular player assisted us in these wins, making this our second win in a row. Is that correct?
That's our second win in a row, yeah.
Second win in a row. All right. But I can say that this week was the first week he just didn't play very well.
So you can look at the stats. This is one of those things that it turns into game manager Mac Jones. So the stats is, 52 QBR, 51 completion percentage, 218 for passing yards. Mac was only under pressure 23% of his dropbacks and was only sacked once. The offensive line looked a lot better.
They were good. They were better this time.
Only allowed a sack and one QB hit on 23 true pass sets. I'm just reading this off from earlier. You're looking at the stats. Mac Jones didn't look great on the stats, but there were plays that he was able to move the chains, get the ball out, and he knows that there was certain times where they were down in the red zone that just a completion that should have been there. There's been a couple, whether it's a drop or something like that. He got there. That stat line could be 2 touchdowns. We could have saw it that way too. He game managed. He got them into a position to win. Obviously, the defense was the reason why they really won.
Right.
They held it together in the second half. But he game managed to keep them in the game, not make a costly. Did he have any picks? No. Did he have any fumbles? No. That's important as well. He didn't turn the ball over like Justin Herbert did with his pick 6 to Adrian Phillips.
Ooh, my goodness.
2 picks in that game. So those are the mistakes. He didn't make the mistakes. Mistake-free. You learn from it. You're on to Carolina.
Look at the smile on this guy's face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's great to go back and play against your former team like that. Like Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry had that big catch at the end with the onside kick. I know that Mac was looking his way for a touchdown this game as well, too. But Adrian Phillips, congratulations to him. A guy that Belichick sought out and picked up I believe, 2 years ago.
Yep.
Got him for a reason, so it was great for him to have his redemption. And again, a game changer, too. It's the fourth quarter, and it made everybody hyped up, and it's... Again, Cliff, it felt like a mini playoff game yesterday.
It did. It did.
We were at the Pats alumni game with the greats.
This is true.
And a little good attendance there. Everyone was excited, hyped up to see that. It felt great. These mini games in the season. It's not. I can't believe I'm excited that the Patriots are 4-4 heading into Week 9. Usually you're 6-2 at this point. Maybe 5-3 on a bad year. Right. It just feels different. It feels exciting as a Pats fan that was never used to this, by the way. We're always used to greatness. We're always used to being far ahead of everybody else. And with the AFC being wide open, we'll talk about that later. I'm excited that Patriots Nation's back. I'm excited the Patriots football is back. I'm excited for every game going forward. To be on the edge of your seat like that. Every game matters.
It does. But you also said it was because we were at the Patriots Stadium. We were doing some other things there while watching the game. Great event, by the way. I want to say this. It felt as if they were there. Oh, yeah, that's why. I know why. We were getting inundated, or you were getting inundated throughout the game, as far as some people talking some schmack, right? Oh, yeah. There was one particular guy really excited. I'm like, wow, he's really after you, man. I felt bad. I was like, wow, maybe I should call you. Maybe I should be like, don't worry about this guy. But you know what? And I'm jumping around. But listen, what were they saying? Something like, shh. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We got to put this Amber Alert out. This guy's missing. What's going on? Have you heard anything?
He's blocked me on Instagram. All right. First of all, Bolt fraud. Listen, good guy as a human being, but as a character of who you are, you're an absolute fraud. And the fact is that you can't even take an L. You can't accept it. And you got so rattled afterwards that my fan base, the people that back me up and the supporters, are going to hand you L. Say whatever. Now, I can't control what they say to you directly, Bolt God. I don't know what DMs are being said and this and that. But Cliff, you know what he did today?
Talk to me.
I have these people messaging me that told me what he's trying to race bait a little bit. I don't like people that do that. I want to talk about that and have an open forum with you about this. You're a black guy, I'm a white guy. Let's talk about it.
Last time I checked, let's talk about it. I'm here.
Let's talk about this, okay? Because I dealt with this all last season with Cam Newton. And I supported Cam up to a point when they were 2-5 after Buffalo. I said, that's it. Cam's not the guy. Cam isn't the guy going forward. I re-supported it this year because it looked like he was the guy, and he's not the guy still, and he's still not on an NFL team. But because I didn't support a black quarterback because of his play, I'm a racist, right? That's how it went. So, and this bothers me because we're both fans, super fans, Bolt God and Spike King, and we talked about this during the week. Hey, we're going to jab at each other back and forth. We're going to have fun with it. They quiet, you make a couple of videos, and today he goes on his Instagram and says, oh, these Boston motherfuckers, every time I go out there, they're so close to saying the N-word. I had people, even Chargers fans, that would message me that would say, this is unacceptable that he's doing that to even race bait like that. And Cliff, I hate that it's used as an excuse, as a defense mechanism for certain people, because you take an L or you're just trying to find that scapegoat. Stop doing that in society. Like seriously. Stop doing shit like that. I have the blackest guy on my arm, Taco Fall. I just don't get this whole because of my skin color. I'm Armenian. I come from the worst genocide in human history. In my ancestors. I was born here in America. I get so frustrated because Cliff, if I do say the wrong thing,
I'm waiting. I'm not, ladies and gentlemen, I want people to understand. I just want people to first understand that I've been watching from a distance, again, just for those that are just new to the channel, which is the CliffNotes Project on YouTube. Follow Spike King on IG, the CliffNotes Project on everything else. So I've been watching you, like I said, for a few years now. Not knowing you, not paying attention. Okay, there might be times I'm like, ooh. But ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I think that happens with everybody. There could be something that I say that might get under your skin or maybe pinch you a little bit. But trying to draw people based on race, to me, I don't know, Bolt. It's kind of corny. A lot of people do it. I actually speak with my brother-in-law who's Caucasian. And I have to ask them these questions because you guys have a side that you're feeling too. It's messed up that, not messed up, but you're white. And history for Caucasian people isn't in favor in light of everyone kind of saying, hey, you're this, you're that. But guess what? I don't think that people's past should speak for what you're doing right now. I don't think that because you're not supporting a certain player, that it means that you're not supporting a black quarterback or black people. It's something that we need, as people, need to continue to do and have these discussions and be uncomfortable with it. You know what? It's okay because I need to know what makes you uncomfortable and vice versa, so we could say, hey, that last time you said something, maybe you're not culturally informed, but it offends our people, and vice versa.
Yeah,
because I say that to my brother-in-law constantly. I'm like, I watch. Me and him are fairly open. And people might listen to him and be like, oh, he's trying to be black. I'm like, no, he was around a lot of black people. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of how he speaks. Just like if you were to put me, and I was having a great conversation with this gentleman today, Brandon Boyd, shout outs to him. I was informing him that I did an interview years back. It was 1992. I was on the phone. The first, you had to go through 3 processes: phone interview, face interview, and then the interview with the CEO. I did a phone interview, got to the second interview. They called my name, Clifford Bonet, with a resume. She comes out. She's like in shock. 6 months later, I did get the job. 6 months later, we're friends. We're shooting our shit. She's like, Cliff, can I ask you a question? I'm like, what's up? She was like, so when you first did your interview, your phone interview, and you came in, I didn't think you were black. Respectfully, she says. I understand what she means. Is it because I'm like, yo, I mean this and that? No, it's how we are as people. Mm-hmm. I can go wherever. I'm a chameleon, and vice versa with my brother-in-law. So I think we got to get the stigma of these things of like, oh, Spike doesn't like Cam. That means he doesn't support black quarterbacks. Yep. How about we start judging people based on their character and their actions? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to say, if there's some racist shit you see, let me know so I can be judge of it. And if I feel that is the case, and I might have missed it because either I've been working, not paying attention, or whatever the case may be, I'll bring it up to him just as a man. Because you know what? That's what we as people need to do.
Well,
that's simple.
The whole point of this is it gets sniffed out pretty quick by those who support, and not even support that, even follow, even haters that follow and say, that's a bullshit tactic that someone's using. Mm-hmm. I follow you for all these years in every little word that you say, because there are people out there that want to catch me up on something, that want to take something and twist it around. And Cliff, this little conversation, we can go on and on it.
For sure.
We're probably going to have an episode down the line within the next year.
Right.
It's going to be just dedicated to this topic because the world is spinning around us, and there are going to be times that we need to stop and talk about it. Mm-hmm. And someone that is a Caucasian, white male, 30 years old, white privilege, right? You want to put that out there. Just a couple years ago, when it was June, and right after the murder of George Floyd, when I was doing Boston's Big Three at the time, and you guys can go right back on it, we had TJ Hujmanzada come on, and I straight up told him, TJ, talk to me about your life. Mm-hmm. Like, paint the picture, because I'm here to be educated. Like, that's the type of person I am. That's why I'm sitting right across from you. I'm here to be educated on these topics.
We all are.
And I want you to know my frustration sitting here when it's used as a defensive tactic from somebody else to put you down to win some sort of argument that we shouldn't be like that in society.
It's corny. It's corny. And that's why I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's just I can't stand for that.
Apple spoils the bunch on both sides.
I can't stand for that.
That's why the stigmas happen.
Of course. But again, where are you, Mr. Bolt?
Yeah, he's missing.
Where are you?
There was that video. Listen, I shout out to Pats Nation afterwards, too. I said, go in there and tell them. They quiet. Guess what? They were already quiet to begin with because it was 63% of the people there were Pats fans anyways. The other
Thank you for bringing up that stat.
Chargers fans, probably 5% were just regular media that's already there anyways. The big knock to the LA Chargers, they're still a good team. They're going to find their way this season. I think Kansas City are frauds, and let's see what happens with the Las Vegas Raiders going forward.
Yeah.
The second they moved out of San Diego, they lost a lot of their pure fan base. Mm-hmm. You go to LA, the LA market is just a melting pot of all sports fans everywhere. Anytime the Chargers are going to have a home game, it's always going to be more of an away game for them. Because LA market, you have people that are there from either Buffalo, down in Florida, Washington, or in the middle of the state. They're out in LA working. Mm-hmm. Production companies, maybe. Hollywood's out there. Regular office jobs, whatever it may be. The Charger are always going to go against a fan base. So
100%.
It'll be interesting to follow that going forward.
But I found let's leave the Chargers alone because we're on to you know who.
Carolina.
That's right. But before we go there, so we won a game, man. That's a W.
You know what we do after a W?
What do we do, sir?
We eat Big Macs.
But before we go and have Big Macs, I'm hungry, and I actually want to get this podcast going because I got my Big Mac waiting, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm not going to eat it in front of you guys. I'm sorry. I'm not there yet, okay? I got an ego. Sometimes my ego pops out. I tell people to check the ego at their door, but shit, this thing I can't. But I found this picture over here. It was on my phone. I can't tell who it is. But shout-outs to that tattoo artist.
Milk Tats, bro. Milk Tats. Listen, this is my 4th tattoo. I said this a week ago. I reached out to him. I think Big Mac Victory is trending. Like, it's upwards right now. It's something that I'll talk about every single week. It's cool that Pats Nation, you don't even have to like Spike King. But grabbing a burger after a W, it gives you something to look forward to every week, especially with it being Mac Jones. Milk Tats has done all my tattoos. This is my 4th one that I've got through Milk Tats himself. I said to him, hey, if the Patriots win on Sunday, 2 wins in a row, Big Mac victory's been trending upwards, I'm getting a Big Mac tattoo. Look, I have it right here.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm not showing the picture. I want you to show it live.
I'll show it live here.
Let's go.
I'm going to go around here. You can
Come up to the camera. You always say you always like, yeah, why not? They're not going to hear you, but it's okay. Right there. Boom.
I can pull this out. I got to back up.
There you go. Look at that. Look at, like, twist it a little bit. Turn it, lightly turn.
Look, I'm a little slow.
It's all right. There you go. Right there. Leave it right there. Yeah, right there.
It's just covered right now. It's going to take a week.
Where'd you get extra pickles on that?
Extra mac sauce.
Extra mac sauce. Look at that. The segues are insane. So while you're there, you're sitting there. I got questions,
Go
man.
ahead.
Was it painful? Be honest, because that's part of the bone.
So this is weird. Kink. Maybe a little like a kink or something like
Yeah.
that. So I told him as he was doing it, I was like, you know what's weird? Because it's been 2 years. The last one I got was the Taco Fall tattoo.
Yep.
I said, I kind of like the pain of the tattoo.
I've been told.
I like that feeling of
Yeah.
he's digging into you and everything. Now, I had to lay on my stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and they made me eat a Big Mac while I was laying down that way. And probably after 2 hours, you start hurting. Like, you're just like, I'm in that like one position. I'm hurting.
Were you done eating the Big Mac right here?
They have the video, dude. I was trying to get the video for you. I was like, dude, I need that video. They have a couple things.
That's all right. We got a couple things we're chopping up
Milk's
anyway.
a great guy, and those that don't know about Milk Tats has clients all over the United States that he flies down to. Actually, one of his biggest recent clients is Max Crosby for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow.
He's done a couple Patriots players in the past. That's how I kind of linked up with him.
Nice.
Chris Johnson, the former running back as well, too. He used to be in the Tennessee Titans, one of his clients. He's down in Florida, down in Miami. I think he's going to Arizona soon. He's just a traveling guy. Milk has done so much great work for me. He's gotten the winning Super Bowl tattoo, the losing Super Bowl tattoo, Taco Fall, now a Big Mac. He just looks at me and laughs. He's like, I can't believe I'm doing this again with you. But it's cool to hear his stories, lay down for, those 2 hours and get that done. Hear him talk, we laugh and catch up on a lot of things. So I'm grateful, too, that they won. We're at the Pats alumni. See you later, Cliff.
Yeah.
I went right.
And you sure? And you know what's hilarious? You sure did. I was like, all right, maybe it's this like nice dream that you got. Kind of like, hey, I'm gonna follow up and do this, and then you know what, guys, I got to be an adult. The wife told me not to.
Oh,
but then
she was so mad. Michelle, sorry. I told you earlier in the week I was gonna do it, and you didn't believe me. And then it's nighttime, and it's 7 o'clock at night, and when the game's over, and you're like, I need you home with the kids.
Yep.
I gotta go get the tattoo.
I gotta get a tattoo.
Travel an hour away.
So did she see it live first, or did you send her a picture, man?
She saw the picture.
Yeah.
I think. Well, she didn't. She saw it today. She just called me an idiot. It is what it is. We wanted to put color on it, but he didn't have the right colors because it's like.
So you're going back?
Well, yeah. So we wanted to put like a Mac Jones 10 on it or something.
Okay.
This is just part one.
Part one.
It's just like we gotta get.
Wait a minute. Are you forecasting something?
Oh,
are you thinking something's happening? I know we're off our schedule here, but what are you planning to do? I need more details, please.
I'm thinking like we might color it in eventually. Maybe we put Mac Jones's face around it for all we know. Maybe we have Mac Jones eating the Big Mac. Who knows? Maybe we put a Super Bowl trophy around it. We have time to play around with this. This one tattoo, this Big Mac, could start and spawn a whole sleeve of Mac Jones related Patriots items for the next 10 years possibly. That's the whole point of it.
I have an idea.
Talk to me. I'm always open.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we had kids that wanted a Mac tattoo, but we created like the arm sleeve?
Yeah.
And then you know how they have those,
yeah.
and just slide it on.
Yeah. Those haven't been, I haven't seen those in like a long time.
Trademark it. Where's my attorney? I need to hit him up.
Do everything.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Cliff, someone says they want Big Mac merch. They want to wear hoodies. They want to wear shirts.
We could do that. We're going to do that. I think we should do the merch. I think the merch would be pretty cool. It's not much to do it. Let's talk about that actually.
I'm just a marketing whore.
But you know what? Real quick. I want to go back to this picture, not to give this guy, I'm not going to call him a clown. He's got to do better. I believe in people, right? I believe in people doing better. I believe in people doing well, learning from their mistakes. We're not all perfect, but you know what? This guy that's missing. Let's talk about the guy that's next to him because I'm very intrigued. You and I talked about on that Silver Bullet guy.
I'm actually grateful that you're going to be talking about Silver Bullet right there for a second.
Yeah.
So first, let me go
Lead the way.
Let me go back to Bolt God real quick.
All right.
He's got a great job. He's a barber out in L.A. He's got a lot. He's got clients. You want to talk about clients? He's got Paul Pierce is one of his guys that he's out there. Even Sean Merriman's one of his clients. Like he's worked his way out. It's just when you're a super fan and you're a social media guy, you got to take your L's when you take your L's. I've said this, Cliff. GRG's actually said this to me, so I'll steal it. I just gave him credit. Sometimes the fans that are social media people, clout people, whatever, we take more L's than the actual players in the field because we're the ones who are getting made fun of post-game and taking all that heat.
Right.
Silver Bullet, awesome man. He was actually on TV during the game at one point. Silver Bullet's almost been on TV almost every game so far. And right now, actually, this will be a great time to talk about it. The Patriots Fan of the Year nomination is up mid-November, and I'm putting my nomination in for Patriots Silver Bullet this year.
Let's get it done.
Pat Silver Bullet has been a season ticket holder for over 30 years. He's been dressing up as the Bullet since 2001. I talked to Bullet, and I said, he's been killing it this year, but more importantly, we're in this new era of Pat's Nation post-Brady, and he's still the same guy, the same supporter of the team, still hyped up about the Patriots, always giving his love and attention to them, and the fan base that's around him. A lot of people love to come up. He talks to everybody that he can because, again, it's a busy schedule on a Sunday when you have to be everywhere. Takes pictures. More importantly, does so much charitable work you would not even understand the long list of what he does. He deserves the highest recognition from the New England Patriots, and that's why I'm putting my name in, and I'm going to promote it and put it all out there so you guys can nominate Patriots Silver Bullet as well, too.
You know what? Let's do something special, man. I just thought of this.
We're always thinking.
I'm trying.
I was a semifinalist last year for Pat's Fan of the Year.
I want to.
So I want to.
Let's go meet. Let's go. Let's set up a date. Let's have a date with Pat Bullet.
We could.
And let's surround him with some of this camera love, so people can know who he is.
It's not that it's tough. We'll have to go to his house or something.
It's whatever.
Because you can get set up. I would love for him to come here. He's a savage. He might do it. We can go to him. Whatever's convenient. You might get Silver on your microphone.
That's all right. Or we can meet him at a game.
Yeah. We can do something with him. He deserves more recognition about his story and who he is. It sucks because, like, say Fox Sports was out with him for that New Orleans game, and they filmed a whole special thing going to his house and how he got ready, and then just cut into 30 seconds. Okay. Like, he has so much to talk about, so much to pick his brain, and he deserves, more recognition from the Patriots fan base. Because Silver Bullet, you see Spike King sitting here and sitting in this studio and having this ability to do everything around that I built up. He's one of the major reasons why I'm even able to do something. He's one of the reasons that I can talk to when I first was a young Gronk and putting things out there on social media to get his spin, telling me, here's a great Silver Bullet story in terms of being a social media person. He goes, the New England Patriots run their organization like Disneyland. It's a family-friendly event. You always need to remember that.
True.
So he said one of his stories was he was actually a semifinals for Pat's Fan of the Year probably 15 years ago. And he hasn't been one since. He hasn't really pushed himself for it. He was always told, and he got a phone call from Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft was saying, hey, we appreciate everything you do. You're someone that makes our organization look good. Just be, advising you in the future, if you're at games and you're having a drink, don't have any alcohol in your hands if you're taking pictures with anybody.
100%.
So what he does is, he's an adult. Yep. All right? He's allowed to do what he's got to do. He'll take a Coke cup, an actual Coke cup, and he'll pour his alcohol in there so he can drink it so it looks like he's drinking a soda. Okay. So I want to spin this into my area. You see me as the beer-drinking SOB, loudmouth, that just loves Bud Lattes. I will take pictures especially with kids, younger kids. I'll take the beer, I'll put it behind my back like this. If I'm grabbing them, I'll put the beer behind them. I try to do that. I know it's hypocritical because one moment I'm slugging a beer and the next minute I'm taking a picture without beer.
No, it's not hypocritical.
But it's a time and place for everything. But Bill Bullet put that in my head way early, and I thought, especially in 2018, I don't travel as much, but 2018, 2019. I do a lot of that at the tailgates. That's what they want. Another example is this. Me and GRD were at that Jets game, week 2, and Dave Silverman, who's one of the photographers on the field, I yelled at him. He took a nice professional picture of us in the stands.
Okay.
He sent it to me. but it never went on Patriots.com or anything. And GRD said, why? I said, because you're holding a Bud Light in your hand.
Right.
He would like I said, not offense, like no offense.
Right.
But they see that like it's one's a sponsorship, and number two, it's alcohol. We don't want to promote alcohol.
We're not promoting
even though
alcohol.
that alcohol is like a humongous sponsor.
That is
it's
correct.
just the way of the thinking. So just a little tip from Silver Bullet, and I explained it kind of, try to hopefully paint a picture for you guys at home. It makes so much sense.
It's part of the it's part of the business.
Yeah.
Even you see me, I'll say, nope, this is marked. We can't do that. Let's get this out of the way. Unfortunately, businesses don't want to play together nice. So they'll say, hey, we can't do this, we can't do that, especially when you start getting some type of notoriety because they're like, oh, now we got to pay this guy off. It's greed at the end of the day.
It is, yeah.
But I'm glad that he learned that lesson. But I want to go back to something that you were saying as far as being hypocritical. I don't think it is. I think if you're an adult and I decide to watch you, like my boy Kevin Boston, shout outs to him. He actually sent me a video. He sent me a video of him working out right now on his bike, watching us.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Keep
Plus,
it up,
there's
Kev,
5
by the way.
people
I've seen that
and
you've been
people on
losing weight
FaceTime.
and he's staying fit. He's doing
awesome.
that. Keep it up, Kev.
But to go back to you, so whoever decides to listen to us at this time has access to us. If we see children, we know there's a switch to shut it down. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I've been watching this guy. I went out to shoot something for him at, I think it was at Celtics. Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah.
He had a few Bud Lattes, as he likes to call them. But when it was game time, which was record time, time to be on camera, he turned the switch on, and he became a professional. So that's the difference between him not caring and him just being himself.
Yeah, you have to, especially, you know, it's funny. I just had this thought. A couple years ago, I was at the Buzz for Kids event. I grew up my hair, the Rob Gronkowski event, because every year I like to try to do some new charity type of event to mingle in. They sold beer at the event, and that's a humongous kids event, and I was double fisting. And I just, and no one's recording me. I had 2 beers in my hand, and I'm not being Spike King. That was an event. I'm just Brian. Like, that's who I am. And I had 2 beers, and it's funny because a lot of the parents came up to me and were like, they sell beer at this event? And I was like, oh, right over there. So, you know, again, time and a place for everything. But, you know, a lot of the following is younger kids, and, you know, by no means am I a role model for anybody, but you never know who's watching that tries to look up to you, that wants to, you know, they see what you do and they're all excited. You got to also make sure that your time and a place of what you do, you know, going forward. And when you're trying to build up a clientele or a fan base, Cliff, and it's a kid coming up to me at the game with the grades and be like, dude, I follow you. I'm so excited. And their parents looking at me like, who the hell is this clown?
Right.
You know, that interaction for that 5 or 10 seconds is very key to make sure that they're like, oh, wow, like, all right, he's nice, respectable person. I get it. And, like, he's a character or whatever on social media, but a human being, like, with my son, like, or daughter or whatever is like, hey, that's someone who's cool. Like, I don't mind them, my son or daughter follows him. Yeah,
because I remember the young little boy when we were walking, when we were pulled up and then we're about to go inside. And he was like, you guys are YouTubers? Like, I guess so.
Yeah.
And then he ran back and he says, all right, how do I find you?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're just
remember that.
We're just working. We're you know, we
Shout
might
out to
be
that
doing
kid.
this.
Hopefully he watches this.
Yeah, you know, he might be one of the actually, wow, it went up. It's 6. We have 6 people watching on YouTube. It's awesome and it's live.
Yeah.
But no, we know how to conduct ourselves. We're professionals, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching this, don't be afraid of just the show that we put, the shenanigans. We just like having fun. You know, we're living our lives, but being responsible at the same time. We're both parents. So
it's been a crazy episode so far.
It has been, but you know what?
Responsibilities, the racism.
Yeah.
It's just like, what,
but let's get back to
go?
the shit. Let's get back to the shit.
I know.
So hold on.
It's been long weekend.
I want to first apologize to the fans because today was a really long day. This is my third interview for the day, plus working the 9 to 5 upstairs. There was some stuff I wanted to show you guys. Not going to happen. But I want to say that guy over there, I'm building. And that guy, hold on. I got to give you, as they say, the flowers first, okay? Damn it. Take them. Listen, he was working while enjoying himself. I talk about this switch all the time. there was two, I'd say, fruitful ladies. They were, I don't want to say old, but they're older than me, but they're fruitful. And they were really into the game. She wins a prize, a raffle. What was it that she won?
Malcolm Butler signed Super Bowl interception frame, like a nice frame photo at the Game with the Greats.
I mean, we were just kind of shooting the shit. She was being herself. I remember saying, "Oh shit!" And she, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "No, you're human. It's okay. You know, the cameras are not rolling."
She looked at the table because what happened was you have to pick a table, and them two already had seats. I didn't know who was sitting there; they were just already taken. So I was like, "Cliff, we need to get a seat before the game starts." So we all kind of sat around, and then you had your film crew out with us. Awesome that they came out and got to be there.
Oh, shoot. Big shout-outs to Jenny and Michael. Thank you.
Like, we appreciate that. And so they were filming us, like, during the game. So they kept asking questions, like, who is this guy? And, like, what's going on? And we got to talk with them. At one point, I was sitting down. I had two Bud Lights in my hand. She looked at the table, and there was already 6 of them spread out all through me, and she's like, "Man, you really like beer." I was like, "Yeah, I can definitely put them down." Like, and she's laughing, and you know what she said to me at one point? She said, "You know, I came to this event, you know, and I had kind of low expectations about it because of the, you know, post-COVID and all that." She goes, "You made the event. Like, you made it more fun to watch the game. 100%. Like, you made it very interesting. You gave your takes of what's going on. You came and spoke and talked with me and gave me the time of day." We even interviewed her at one point too, and you know, the big thing that, and I've tweeted about it, was Steve Grogan gave high praise to Mac Jones, says he has some big shoes to fill because of Tom Brady, but he knows the playbook, and he's going to be great going forward. And I asked her that question because that's her generation quarterback.
That is correct.
And said, Steve Grogan was on the Patriots for 16 years. He was Tom Brady before Tom Brady, except that Steve Grogan just didn't win anything. They've gotten close that one time, and that's it. So she said hearing that was so much, and getting to hear her side of it was awesome. Her friend Becky as well, too, was just, she was at first like timid, like, oh, like,
she was timid, and then she started warming up.
She loosened up. So that's what's great. And you talk about the switch. We get upstairs. Hey, guys, you go do your thing. I got to go pee. I got to go grab beer. I'm talking to people. I'm out drinking. At the same time, it's like, hey, we got to go film this, and then at the same time, we're this and that. I said this: if you have any content, whenever it comes out, just release it. Like, just put it out there. I don't care if they say yes or no. They have no choice. It's going to be out there because we got some sick views.
Amazing.
We were able to sit outside. I want that video that I'm just when I'm walking down.
And that's all you. Wait till you hear the music behind that.
Like, and just release it and just put it out there. People see it. I mean, it was very awesome that they allowed us to come in to be in. You kind of came and you've been to the event before, but you came into my world of what it's like to be me at an event, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
I think the two worlds kind of fuse really nice. I think they're going to be I hope they'll be very excited because, again, I'm not trying to hype us up, but
no,
we kind of made the event a little bit excited.
Cliff, you work your ass off. You have so much that's going on, your regular job plus everything that goes on around here. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more clients that are important. There's a lot more things that are important. There's more deadlines that are important. The not crappy thing about sports is the turnaround is super quick.
Fast. Yeah.
Because if it's like yesterday was the event, you need to get something out the next day. And it's impossible sometimes to even do that. Sometimes in this world, you have to make something that comes out weeks in advance, right? Because then things become stale pretty quick in sports world. So it's tough to do that, but this is twice now. The Celtics game and the Patriots event. It doesn't mean that it's gone forever. It's like you have awesome content. I talked about it today to Michelle. I was like, there's awesome content that he just keeps. Like, it's there to ever release in the future whenever we need it. But it's just, these are two little things that we got to do outside the studio that's like our brains are now together and be like, wow, we can do a lot.
And I think what's pretty cool is, and thank you for saying that. I think a lot of people feel as though it's like, hey, you record and then boom, just put it out. I'm very happy that you understand how, like, I'm just trying to do it, my crazy ways of doing it, because like I keep telling you, I don't know if you notice, it keeps changing every week. We talked about just growing, and by playoff time, I said it. I said
playoff time.
Oh
playoff
shit!
Time,
I got to do
what?
it. I don't know if you're ready, but I did it. You're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's not perfectly placed, but
okay, that's perfectly placed. That's actually perfectly placed right there. I can even kind of pinpoint. I got to go this way, right?
Yeah.
So listen up. We're not doing the path to the playoffs. We're doing the wave to the playoffs. We're riding the wave to the playoffs. We're bringing Ride the Wave back again. So now this is all said and done. Kansas City just won tonight, Monday Night Football. They're absolute frauds. They're 4-4, but they're below New England, so they don't even matter. So right now, that big win, New England just beat the L.A. Chargers. You own the tiebreaker over them. Now, if the L.A. Chargers win the division, so look at Las Vegas. They're 5-2, right? You got the L.A. Chargers. They're 4-3. One of those might win the division right there. So you don't own the tiebreaker unless you win your division, because then you can go ahead in that sort of sense. But it's this wild card that's the important part. You at least own a tiebreaker over the Chargers. If they end up being the wild card team, you have the same record, you're going to have their own. Guess who we play in a couple weeks? The team that's in first place. 6-2. The person they're missing is Derrick Henry, who just
that's
is going
a big
to have
deal.
Foot surgery tomorrow, Tuesday. He's not going to be at that game.
Nope.
So that's a huge.
Adrian Peterson, they said. How do you feel about that?
Dude, he's just a filler. Like,
Yeah.
that's all it is. I don't expect AP to be AP, but the Patriots also aren't the greatest at the run. As you can tell with Jackson, who had that 7-yard run.
Well, we don't want to talk about it. We want to be happy. We're happy.
But
Slow tower.
So you have Tennessee coming up. You have the Cleveland Browns, who are just coming off that loss to Pittsburgh, but that's going to be a dogfight back and forth. You still have the Browns coming up, too. So every win counts, and coming up this week, you're playing Carolina, all right? Carolina, they're just coming off. They started 3-0. They had a couple losses. They just got a victory against the Falcons. Stefan Gilmore got that interception. Sam Darnold got concussed. So they have P.J. Walker as their quarterback right now, who's the XFL. Like, he was like an MVP for the XFL. They're hurting right now, but the fact is you still have to go down to Carolina. You still have to win a road game. It's not easy doing that in the NFL, and every game counts. You can't just look past this game and think Carolina's a bad team. They're getting Christian McCaffrey back this upcoming week. Again, your run defense is a little suspect.
Yeah.
This is a game that hopefully Mac Jones gets a couple throws into the end zone.
I'm actually expecting Mac Jones to surprise people, because you know what the conversation is going to be. Let me clear my throat. Dear radio listeners, or I'm sorry, radio personalities, feel free to talk about how Mac Jones now has to go against who? Who's the guy we just released?
Cam Newton.
No, man.
Oh, Gilmore. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm thinking. I got Cam Newton on my mind.
It's because of the Panther.
Well, because I'm trying to think ahead.
Yeah,
when you throw it over to me, and I don't.
Nope, not yet. I'm sorry. No, that was a bad alley.
Is because if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm signing Cam Newton today. I'm signing
to get the intel.
To get the intel. Sam Darnold's concussed, and there's a possibility he's not going to play. You have P.J. Walker as your starter. Let him be the starter. You sign Cam Newton as your emergency backup quarterback this week. He's the one that's going to be able to tell the Carolina Panthers, this is Mac Jones' tendencies. This is how their defense likes to do things. Whatever they all made fun of Cam Newton for not being able to read the Patriots playbook. He definitely knows something. He has got some sort of insight being on that team for at least a year and a half. I would, if I'm Carolina, that's a Bill Belichick move, by the way. Bill Belichick loves to pick up certain players that have played on these other teams that they end up going against.
That's true.
Has them for their practice squad people, whatever they are, and then releases them right afterwards. I think that if you're the Carolina Panthers, you pick up Cam Newton ASAP. But yes, you're going against Stefan Gilmore, and Gilmore's going to want to show out. But at the same time, Gilmore plays one position. He's going to probably go up against Aguilar or something like that.
Right. Just run him down the field.
That's all it is. And Gilmore can have a great stat line where he has like 2 deflections. Even if he gets an interception, you still might lose that game 34-10, Carolina. Like,
so let me throw it your way, because it looks like you're actually giving us some pointers about your week picks. So how about we just start off with this here?
Absolutely. New England at Carolina. Last week I said you take New England money line. New England -3 right now. They're the favorite. I just go with New England because I'm absolute bias, and I think they can pull it out. And again, we talked about the Chargers being a turning point of the season. This is another little turning point of the season in the term of if you're favored by 3 points on the road, you should win this game by 7 points. That's the actual statement that I'll look like in terms of gambling and actually making the Patriots a team.
All right. Well, I didn't write a card for that one, but I do have a card for this one. Boom. Okay. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Houston at Miami. Houston is an absolute dumpster fire, but so is Miami. They're both 1-7. They both stink, but Miami's a humongous favorite. I like Houston right now at plus 250. Take them now because I have a feeling Tyrod Taylor is going to end up being the starter for the Houston Texans.
Ooh.
So I think that if you can get them now at 250, maybe throw down 100. You throw it on 100, you win 250. I think that you take that pick now. Tyrod Taylor ends up becoming the starter. Houston ends up winning that game in Miami. Miami's got some tough coaching personnel issues, GM personnel issues, ownership because of Deshaun Watson thing. So I think that Miami. Also, by the way, too, Miami gave their pick to Philadelphia. So if you're an Eagles fan out there, somehow, some way, you want Miami to lose this game.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And how about these guys over here?
Las Vegas at the New York Giants. So the Giants are just coming off a little heartbreaking loss against Kansas City. It didn't go my way. Last week I came out here and said that Kansas City is a bunch of frauds. They're going to lose. The Giants had a lead in this game, and then they ended up losing that. But the Vegas Raiders are now 2-0 post-Gruden. They're only a 3-point favorite. Yes, they're a West Coast team going into the East Coast for probably a 1 o'clock showdown. But I'm riding with the Raiders. I think that team's going to go on a roll. There's a little storyline brewing, and I like Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is going to be the MVP conversation, part of the conversation going forward, especially now Kyler Murray lost on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
and
tough
then Tom
loss.
Brady also didn't look pretty shaky as well, too, and he kind of steps down a little bit. I think Carr's going to be on the rise and just be part of that MVP group.
Okay. Good call. We always can rewind and see what they're talking about. What about this here, Buffalo?
Things that got wrong. So Buffalo at Jacksonville. So here's the thing. Buffalo was I think 11 or a 14-point favorite against Miami this past week. They got bailed out with like a touchdown minutes ago. They shouldn't have covered. I'm saying Jacksonville plus 14.5. It's in Jacksonville. I think how many times I'm saying I'm going to ride with Trevor Lawrence a couple times this season.
Yep.
I think that they'll have a shot to stay in this. Whoever made the schedule for Buffalo, geez, they're favoring them like crazy this year. They just coming off of Miami. They have Jacksonville. I think they have the Jets after this as well, too. Don't sleep on the Jets, though. I mean, they just had a big win. But, I mean, I would take the points. Anytime you see high points like this, it's very hard. An example, Cliff,
Yes,
the Rams were 16-point favorites against Houston. The Rams were up 38-0 going into the fourth quarter. Houston still covered. Houston scored 22 points. So that's why I think it's not college football. It's the NFL. You know, these teams are playing to the final whistle.
True.
So
that's right.
I like Jacksonville plus 14.5.
All right, let's talk about your favorite quarterback right there.
Oh, boy. My favorite quarterback, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not Pat Mahomes. It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, a savage, won on Thursday Night Football. He's got 10 days rest right now.
Oh, yeah.
And Kansas City just played tonight. So they have short rest. And yet Green Bay is the underdog in this game.
Unreal.
They're going to go eat. And this line could be changing, especially after the way Kansas City just beat the Giants. Kansas City didn't even cover against the Giants. I like Green Bay to keep this rolling. And Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers knows. Now, Tom Brady has 2 losses on the season. They know that, hey, if we want to stay at the top of the NFC, because remember, whoever gets the 1 seed gets the buys. No more 2 seed buys anymore.
That's right.
So I think Green Bay needs to keep this rolling. I like Green Bay and Kansas City. It'll be, and if you know what, if Kansas City, if you win this game and you beat Green Bay, you do prove yourself that you actually are still a playoff contender, and you're still in it. But could be. They probably labeled this down as a possible Super Bowl preview, and it still could be, but it's still kind of early right now. We're only halfway through the season.
No, good point. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you know. Just because we don't win all the time doesn't mean that we're wrong, okay? I don't know if that made sense, even though if it doesn't make sense.
I have my good weeks and bad weeks. There's some weeks I'll hit 8 out of 9. Some weeks I'll go 0 out of 9. I mean, I thought this past week I did pretty bad, but in football, you just don't know. Some weeks you don't know. Other weeks you know for a fact what's going to end up happening.
And some weeks you don't know why the coach do dumb shit to have the other teams cover. I don't know. All right, let's talk about.
You want us to talk about speaking about dumb shit?
Where do you want to go with this?
I want to go about the Boston Celtics.
Wow, you read my cards, huh?
I just had this feeling looking into your eyes right there.
It was happening.
Talk about dumb shit. The Boston Celtics are now 2-5 on the season, right?
Yep.
They had a 12-point lead against the Chicago Bulls, who are a good team this year, right? They don't really have bench depth though, but they're a good team. The Bulls started off hot in the game. Celtics took control, and in the third quarter, they were up double digits at some point. In the fourth quarter, the Boston Celtics got outscored 39-11 in the fourth quarter at home in the TD Garden.
I gotta love that.
They are 0-3 at the TD Garden this season. Jason Tatum is I think he was minus 21 tonight. Jaylen Brown was +1. Josh Richardson was minus 27 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus Smart, for all the money you're paying him, he had 7 points.
Yeah.
He had 1 assist. Like, 1 assist. That's all he could do.
It's about the effort and him, I don't know.
So 81 game season, Cliff, and I'm going to throw it to you because I want you to talk a little bit more about the basketball side of it. 81 game season, they're 2-5 years. That's 7 games. I just did some math in my head there.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the percentage, like we're about 10% of the way in the season now.
Yep.
I look at basketball and sometimes I look at basketball players as divas.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially when you have 5, 6, 7 guys, they control where your season's gonna go.
100%.
I have a feeling the Boston Celtics string a couple more losses in a row. A lot of these guys are gonna start checking out. They're not gonna try their best, especially when you already have that money in your pocket. You know what I mean? So, and I'm going to say it that way. And I look at it this way, too, in football terms. 2-5 is the equivalent of starting 0-2 in the season. Like, that's the way the Boston Celtics have started this season so far. And they're playing the Orlando Magic on Wednesday. And I just heard it on the way over here. The 3 worst teams right now in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics, the Orlando Magic, and there was whatever the last team is. But I know there's another team out there. There's 3 worst teams. The bottom 3 right now, Cliff. Go ahead.
Divas... I'm going to say yes. But before we even get to the rest of the league, I want to talk about, or I want to make a statement that people need to really not bitch about or harp on me. And even if they do, I don't care. I think it's time to start saying, is Jason Tatum, and you might not know who this man is, because I think it might be before your time, is he just Allen Houston? A guy that can score a lot. He played with the Knicks. But when it came time to really just step it up, and this is people are going to say, "Oh, that's a low blow," because it is kind of a low blow. Jason Tatum is much more talented, but it's like he just doesn't care. I always told you, and my cousins always talk shit to me, especially the first year. Is I said Jaylen Brown is my favorite player on the Boston Celtics. Reason being, he plays both ways. He might not be as gifted as Jason Tatum, but he thinks that he is. He gets angry. Yes, sometimes he runs into a lot of traffic, but that means he's trying to press. It would be nice if we had sniper shooters like a J.J. Redick, so when Jaylen Brown does, because his dribbling has gotten much, much, much more improved, but just takes it to the hole, he has some place to kick it to, as opposed to, I'm going to kick it to Jason Tatum, pump fake, shoot, miss, or be hot one night. I'm asking for consistency, not only in points, but consistency in effort, and be a man about your shit. Get angry.
Isn't it crazy? I'm just looking this up just to make sure I fact check myself.
Mm-hmm.
That Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were taken back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm.
They both went 3rd overall.
Right.
But there was so much more hype about Jason Tatum and him being the franchise guy, right? The hype that came around him coming out. But secretly, I think it's always been Jaylen Brown.
Really?
I feel like that Jaylen Brown should be the one that's the keys to the kingdom.
He should be.
I mean, and you see the way he plays. He's the one that's the fighter. He's the one that wants to win.
Right.
I just feel that Jason Tatum had fame rushed to him too quickly because of the hype that comes around it. Not totally his fault.
Right.
He's pushed into these commercials.
Correct.
He's pushed into these endorsement contracts. And I don't think Jaylen Brown really was. I feel like he's more the quiet guy.
And he
but
got
they,
grinded.
remember, they were both taken at the same exact pick a year apart.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a 50-50 coin flip, one of them's going to be the guy.
Right.
It's Jaylen Brown. It looks like that right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk where it's like, I think that the stigma of everyone wearing 0 jerseys and, 0 put him in the rafters, like there was a lot of pressure almost from the start of Jason Tatum to be the guy. And I think it's starting to show this season, and it's going to unravel during the year, that he truly wasn't the guy, and it should be Jaylen Brown. And maybe before you are in the sinking ship, you need to decide, who do we actually go around? We can fix our team. We can still get some great assets off of Jason Tatum. I'm not saying trade him, but these are things in thought process, because if your team ends up going 8-16, like you have some trouble. Like that's what it looks like right now in this team, this Boston Celtics team, the way they're playing right now.
Especially now that you're saying we don't have any major injuries. There's always injuries throughout the season, right? And that's the last thing you really want to add to us, because God knows the past 3-4 years, it's all been just injury. Oh, they've never played together, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, they were given a contract. I'm just always seeing additional growth on Jaylen Brown. I don't want to beat the Jaylen Brown horse because I think that the stats and how he plays will finally show. I think last year was the first time when he made the All-Star that people were actually like taking him seriously.
Let's do this now because it's still early in the season.
Let's do it.
We're pro Jaylen Brown,
Yeah.
anti Jason Tatum. Rest of the way. Both of us. We're on the same page. This is something that we have on the same page.
I want to say this. I'll agree with you, but I also want a disclaimer just so people that are so sensitive understand. We're not against Jason Tatum. We want him to score 100 fucking points. You know why?
Yeah.
Why? Because we want the Celtics to win. It's all about the team. But I agree with you. I'm down.
So GRD said this to me. This was before Jason Tatum signed his contract. And you got to think when Jason Tatum signed his contract, COVID, it's in the middle of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the guaranteed money for his family to make sure everything's set up. You don't know what's going to come. You also don't know about injuries.
Right.
You know, you get an injury before a contract, it's all over for you.
That's right.
You're not going to get the same money.
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, exactly. And I look at, he told me beforehand, he goes, I just had this strange feeling that he was going to go through his rookie deal and then go to L.A. Jason Tatum wants to play in L.A. Jason Tatum, I think, wants to be a Laker. Yeah. I think Jason Tatum does not want to be the guy.
Right.
He wants to just play second fiddle to a LeBron type of player. And I feel that Jason Tatum's heart is not in Boston.
I have a question for you. Being a huge fan, I feel like you being a huge fan and me being a little older, I'm a little more realistic as to what I want from my players. Would you ever respect or look down at a player to say, hey, I'm not really trying to be the guy?
Never.
I'm okay with that.
You know your role.
Right.
Like, that's it.
Right.
There has to be.
Because that's a great comment you said, though. Seriously.
There has to be a point where they need the guy.
Right.
Which is why they have Marcus Smart. Like, but seriously, it's the reason why they kept him around. Because it's like we need a vocal leader. We need the guy on the team. You do need a guy that's
alpha.
Your vocal guy. The alpha,
alpha.
Kevin Garnett, right? Mm-hmm. Kevin Garnett is the guy, right? Even though it was Paul Pierce's team, Kevin Garnett was that alpha vocal leader that kept everything together. You do need that on your team. Mm-hmm. The same way with the New England Patriots, it's like Tom Brady's out the window.
Right.
Who's on offense going to be that vocal leader? Who's going to be that guy that takes it over? But there are certain guys that don't want the spotlight. Example, I'll put Patriots again, right? Because that's my cup of tea.
Let's talk about it.
Julian Edelman. Yep. Julian Edelman last season in 2020 was not team captain. He wasn't named team captain. Mm-hmm. But yet Julian Edelman was the brand, right? Mm-hmm. Because he was the last guy left. He didn't want the spotlight. He wanted to go in and just do his job. And we got to see that against Seattle where he had his pretty much last big game. That's fine. If you know your role, be that way. You don't need to have that. I think it's just the stigma of you pick somebody at a high spot, you put everything on him, you're our guy, you're leading us to charge. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just doesn't want that. And maybe he's just not mature enough, I would say, to tell somebody off and say, I don't want this. Because maybe he's afraid he'll lose more than what he already has now.
Good point.
It's tough he's 22, 23 years old. Like, it's tough to make that big decision of what your career is and start maturing over time.
And I think that's what's unfortunate, too, for these kids, which is why sometimes I think it's better for them to stay in college, refine their game. The money will be there. Hopefully they avoid injury. But there is a maturity aspect to it that's not that's taken for granted, right? I know if I was 20, what did we say, 23, 24?
Yeah, he's 23.
Okay, 23,
24 March.
And you're a freaking millionaire, and you're a yes man, and they're saying, like, you're the illest. I'm not going to try to change my game. You know what I mean? So
the crazy thing is looking at his age, too, of being turning 24 this year, he's still playing for another decade in the league, right?
Right.
But you also want to carve your own path in this league. Do you want to just be another Carmelo Anthony that kind of just like you do your own thing and you have to eventually start ring chasing towards the end and you'll have the points, you'll have the statistics. Like Melo's going to be a Hall of Famer for what he's put up.
Right.
But I don't think people are going to remember Melo down the line. Like, people remember winners. People remember champions.
Right.
That's what it truly is. I just don't see Jason Tatum. You have to do it at a younger age. You have to prove it. And like I said, I don't think he has Boston in his heart, totally in his heart. Mm-hmm. And I know the Green Teamers are going to be so upset I said that. You need to prove it that you're a winner, that you go out there and lay it out every single night. because that's how you're going to get people to come to our city and play for this team, which is historically a team in a free agent market that they never get anybody. They never can sign anybody unless you throw the money at them. It's very, very rare it happens. Boston's not a major media market, by the way, or major player destination. You don't want to play in the winter where it's very cold up here.
Yeah.
Boston is not New York City. New York is the spotlight. New York is the talk shows. New York has all the advertisements. Miami has that. LA has that. Those are the places you want to go to. You don't want to go to a small media market at all.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it. And I just want people to get it too, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's all right that he doesn't want to be the guy or the leader, or maybe he's just not there yet. I just want people to say that it's okay that he doesn't want to be that. We don't necessarily need to force him, but at the same time, we are expecting a more aggressive basketball player. That's what I want.
You just said it to just go full circle and close it out. You said, I'm seeing Jaylen Brown continue to mature and continue to get better. And yes, he has a year on Jason Tatum. Yeah, Tatum had a good run for a couple games towards the end, towards the playoffs last year, where he throws up 50, 60 points, whatever he does. But you're not seeing the progression from him.
Correct.
Like, and you're like, we need to see the progression of you because, yes, you were third overall, and yeah, you're a year behind Brown, but you're put in the spotlight as the guy, which means you have to progress faster than the other guy that's progressing with you. And they should be progressing equally. Right now.
100%. 100%. So it is tomorrow. It's no longer Tuesday. I don't know, when do the lines for this particular thing pop up? Because I skipped
deadline. Yeah, so I believe 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. on Tuesday,
Eastern time,
it's over.
right?
I've had some people ask me what I think is going to happen. I think if you're going to add anything to the Patriots this season, it's got to be some defensive help. Work on your defense. I think your offense is set. I don't think you need to go out and get this big playmaker. We said this, last episode. The game against the Chargers is going to dictate whether you're a buyer or seller. They have to be buyers now going forward. You know what you have with your 4-4 team. I just think added depth on defense to help their run game, or a cornerback or safety, whatever you can add on your side would definitely be beneficial for the New England Patriots. Everyone throws out these crazy names. Allen Robinson, right, for the Chicago Bears.
Every year we do this.
Dude, they're not going to pay Allen Robinson $17 million or $15 million. Like they're not looking to spend money for a rental either. Like that, you have to look at it that way. Could we see players get shipped out? That's also a possibility too. I don't know how the IR works in terms of, let's say, Chase Winovich, because he's on the IR. I don't know how Jarrett Stidham could have a new home tomorrow, because there are certain teams that are looking for a little extra padded for the quarterback, and they have Hoyer now for the rest of the season. They're comfortable with Mac Jones going forward. I said there was a little knee issue we had to watch out. That's all said and done. You're going with Mac for the rest of the season, no matter how the season turns right now. You're with them. Yeah, you have to be. I can see it that way in terms of if maybe a trade happens, if you want to clear some cap, bring somebody in. I mean, Hightower, like, that's just that money's just sitting there that that if you're not going to cut Hightower, he's not going to retire midseason. But I'm talking about finagling the cap to help you out for the rest of the year. There's money that you could be able to move around in certain areas. I do think at the end of the day, when the dust settles, please prove me wrong, Bill Belichick. But I don't think he's going to do anything. I think he's content with what he sees with the team. I think the team is building its own chemistry and identity right now, that you don't need to add this big mega star or put a bigger piece in there. Something small that you can add for depth would be the best possible thing, but I don't see them making a superstar type of move to add somebody at this deadline, when this is, again, still a transition year, and you're still got free agency coming up, and you still got other moves you can make in the offseason.
Your GM, who do you go for? Position. You don't have to give me a player.
Position, just linebacker. just something to add deep in there as well. Whether that's someone to help out with Hightower's situation. I mean, you had Winovich go down already with injuries. The injuries are going to come soon, So I just want to focus on the defense. Anything that you want to add to the defense, add to that defense. I would like to see a cornerback, added cornerback. Again, Jalen Mills got burnt again, and it's not his fault. I'm actually
safety play is coming into play, pun intended.
Like he was signed because Gilmore was on your team and was the Patrick Chung replacement.
Right.
He wasn't signed into playing
coverage.
cornerback, and he's got to do it this season.
Yeah.
Patrick Chung's had to do it, right? Like, it's just he's given it a position. It's like, hey, you have to fill in. Like, we need you to fill in this role. So I hope that if they're going to go anything, it's cornerback. They have to make a move for cornerback if you're going to go that route. They could also wait to the offseason and address the cornerback situation. I think you just got to keep rolling with what you have. You can get a lower-tier cornerback as a rental for the rest of the year. And, again, wide receivers, I'd rather get offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I got a good story.
Talk to me.
I got a little Bab source on this. Actually, this is great.
Here we go.
I got a little something that was tossed my way the other day. Trent Brown is not the same Trent Brown we used to know who he is. I've heard that Trent Brown has just become a complete asshole. I've heard that Trent Brown just isn't like what the players expected him to actually be. And I heard there's a little animosity in the locker room towards Trent Brown. Interesting because he hasn't played yet this season, really. He's been hurt with the calf issue. I was just told that Trent Brown made his money, and that's it. He's comfortable. He got his Super Bowl ring. He made his money off the Raiders, and that's it. Like, he's literally just milking every last cent out there.
So
and you know what,
we made
Trent
a bet.
Brown? Because I know you're going to see this. I know it's going to come your way. Go prove me wrong and go shut me up. But I just know that you're not the same guy that you once were. Babyface Brown, everyone was excited in 2018. You went to the Raiders, and the Raiders fan base know you kind of fucked him over. You come here for a redemption type of story. But from what I'm hearing around that locker room and the people around Trent Brown, it's not the same person that we knew he or thought he was going to be. So add offensive line if you can as well too.
All right. I ain't mad at that. I'm just gonna subscribe to the linebacker situation.
Yeah,
Or even defensive end. Because you know
happy
why?
with anything.
Dietrich Wise, I don't understand what he's doing either.
Yeah.
He makes a great play, then he's just gone
Yeah,
for the rest of the game.
He's always the guy that's like just so close to like making that huge play to get his name out there, but just like a hand short or something.
He's
like
like
that.
he's
He
like a
also makes, like,
JV
dumb
Chandler
penalty or
Jones.
something like that.
Remember Chandler Jones?
Yeah, Chandler
He's a
Jones,
JV Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
But you know what? The Patriots, because I'll speak highly of Dietrich Wise, he does a lot of charitable work.
Yeah,
He's a
good person.
spokesman.
I know about that.
So like the
but
Patriots
player,
and how Belichick looks at players sometimes
the
is
value.
they're like Dietrich could be like a B- or C+ player, but it's the individual person himself and who he is he'd rather have that in his locker room than maybe a B+, A- player, but is a like psycho, like is uncontrollable or something like that. That's like a Trent Brown.
Yeah.
Like he'd rather have something like he'd rather have a Dietrich in that sort of sense that people can build around. Again, locker room type. Not a leader, but another voice.
The next game, or maybe I'll look up the stats just to see how many snaps he got. I don't know if he's just not on the field enough.
Yeah.
Or they keep moving him around, or maybe it could also be the coaching because we didn't talk about that. I want to touch on that real quick before we wrap it up. With the coaching, because I'm listening to the radio, I'm driving in. And they mentioned, excuse me, that they're not showing who the defensive coaches are, even though they did show Gerard Mayo in passing. I just want them to just say who the defensive coach is so I can get angry. For example, why would you run zone on a 5-yard line? I don't know. I didn't play much, but that was a little crazy to me.
I think the defensive coach is Bill Belichick. It's Bill Belichick now running the defense. And I think you can kind of see that in the last two games. I think that Belichick is always a defensive-minded coach. He never had to worry about offense when you had Tom Brady here, and I think with the last couple of years between Cam Newton coming in and then now Mac Jones, he needs to keep his hands in that pot to make sure it's kind of up to speed where he needs to see it to be. Yeah. And I think Mac Jones has proved it. Remember where I came out here and talked right to the camera and all you guys out there and said, Mac Jones, grab the brass ring, grab it. And I think we've actually seen that since then, the last 2 games, where Mac Jones is taking control a little bit more. I think that Belichick can kind of take a step back. All right, he's feeling comfortable. He knows that we have support for him. He can work with McDaniels. He can control the game.
Yep.
I need to start focusing more on the other side of the ball.
The other side of the ball.
And I think that we've seen that over the last couple weeks. And going forward, especially now that we're halfway through the season, we're at the mid-season point, week 9, I think you're going to see more of a Bill Belichick defense. He's in the control.
I do hope so because it's exciting to at least see that the Chargers, that were putting up a lot of points against other teams, that we held them at check. We held them at bay. So I was really impressed. I will say that. I think the Judon effect is unreal. I would love for him to have help on the other side. I would love that when they're saying, okay, we can't throw the ball because we don't have time, let's run, that there is a dependable linebacker. I don't want to beat the horse, but that's all I'm asking for.
So Judon has now should have at least deserved the utmost respect from Bill Belichick. Remember, you have him for 4 years. This is just year one.
Yeah.
So he deserves more say in, hey, maybe we get this guy in the offseason, maybe we get this guy in the – because he's going to want someone, like you just said, that works side by side with him. He should be able to have that hand-picked type of player because also chemistry matters so much.
It does.
With a player that you trust by your side.
100%.
And you're going into the trenches together. And whether it's at the trade deadline on Tuesday or, in the offseason, he's definitely got a say now in the Patriots organization win with Bill Belichick.
I can't prove this, but I called the pick six during the game. I said I want. It was halftime. Halftime. I said pick six, but here's another call that I'm calling. I'm saying that he's going to be captain next year.
Yeah, I like that call. I think so. I think he deserves it. And we're seeing a shift already.
Yeah.
I mean, Hightower's your captain right now. Hightower's not going to be here next year.
Right.
It'd be crazy if you sign him for some sort of extension.
No way.
We might even see a McCourty type of person leave as well.
I think it's time to bow out.
And you're going to see, I think Matthew Slater will stay at least one more year. He can still play. He's still
continuity, locker room. Yep.
Special teamer.
Yep.
But you're going to see that shift, and I think that's a great call, and I think he'll take it over, and I think that the fan base accepts that. And again, he's somebody that might look at that and say, we want to vote you as captain, and he might say no because maybe he doesn't want to be that captain.
He just wants to
Bentley.
just come
maybe
into
Bentley
work.
Bentley gets the captain. Like maybe he's just, I want Bentley to do that.
Okay.
I will say about Judon, he's been talking a lot to the media, and I saw this, I think going into the game, was that he's always available to talk.
Yeah.
I think he loves talking to the media. He says the right things to the media. He is more of a real individual person, and he goes, as long as you're not asking me stupid questions, it's like I'll give you whatever you want to hear. So it's great to see that Judon's also taking that role with the media as well too.
Hey Judon, if you ever want to take it outside of the typical media, give us a buzz.
He'll have to play for another team again if he wants to do that.
Hey. We won't bite.
Patriots, the Fort Knox Patriots, man.
We won't bite. I think I don't know. I might have a trick up my sleeve. It'll be
piss, Cliff, is tailored. Just you bring that up, but if we were fans of the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, any other freaking organization, even the LA Chargers, we would probably have Keenan Allen sitting right here.
Yeah.
We would probably have Cole Beasley on.
It's
or something
different,
like
isn't it?
In Miami, we would have like Devontae Parker or something like that. We would Miles Gaskin. Their media teams, every other freaking team, they allow them to do whatever they want. They're allowed to go on podcasts. They're allowed to be open-minded. They're allowed to speak what they want to speak.
To be human.
The Patriots, you're not allowed to do that. You're never allowed to do that. They will never approve anything unless it's Patriots approved, stamped. They're there. They're watching. They watch every little detail that goes on. It's very militarized that way. That's just how Bill Belichick has run this organization. I hate it, and I don't hate it. I hate it for what we do.
Right.
Because you want more access. At the same time, you want to see your organization be successful.
Right.
That's the mold.
And you don't want anyone slanderous shit and stuff. Yeah.
That's what it is. Let it be. Let it be.
I'm not mad at it. All right. So I hate to end it like this, but I just want to just say rest in peace to this man. I've lost family and friends to cancer as well. This guy 7 times. 7 times. And he used to just come into work. I was happy enough to when I used to watch baseball. Obviously, it was nascent for me until they blacked us out, or ESPN or Fox took over. But he just called the games. He always made it personal. He went through his shit, not just with cancer, but personally with the son and everything else.
Yeah.
We tried to ostracize him while he was here, and I'm not saying all this nice things because he's no longer with us, but I am saying that I will miss his commentary. They were dry sometimes, but they were great a lot of the times. We're not perfect. I'm just glad that he's no longer suffering, and I wish his family, friends, and anyone else close to him well wishes and to celebrate him. Not really mourn him, but to celebrate him.
Yeah, and I think we've seen that, over the last 24 hours. A lot of people have been calling into talk shows and talking about their memories. I grew up on Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy. And like you said, sometimes it could be dry, but there's sometimes they had some great commentary. They worked as a great 1-2 punch together that makes baseball a 3-hour game actually worth watching and listening to.
Yeah.
And Jerry Remy did that, and they actually said that when Dennis Eckersley and Jerry Remy were together, if you were a baseball nerd, and when they got it going, they knew their stuff. And that's if you're a baseball statistician or you're a nerd, you would love that way. There's so many positive stories that come out for Jerry Remy, even with his whole son thing that you just said, his battling of cancer 7 times. There's been so many positive stories from players to the organization to the fans. So his memory is going to last forever, and he's somebody that they're going to celebrate his life going forward. I'm sure that he's the type of person that they probably wanted to honor him as best as possible. And he said, nope, I don't want that attention. I don't deserve that attention. There are more players that deserve that type of respect and love. But I'm sure the Red Sox organization, they hit on some good things sometimes. And I'm sure next season at the opening start, they're going to do something very special for Jerry Remy. Something that his legacy will last forever going forward. And it's absolutely 100% deserved. He made a lot of childhoods growing up. This was a baseball city, I said that 2004 World Series meant so much more than the New England Patriots dynasty run at the start. So and he was at the forefront with Don Orsillo when that all happened. So rest in peace to the Rem Dog, man. It's the Rem Dog. I hope they should change Fenway Franks to just Rem Dogs.
They should.
They should. That's how you honor somebody like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Something that will stick and it's like, oh, it's not a Fenway, it's a Rem Dog.
It's a Rem Dog.
It's a Rem Dog.
I like that.
That's something that changes.
As they should. They should. Rest in peace to him. And again, condolences to friends and family members. Final thoughts is up. Didn't get the photo for this clown, but I'll just put our nice final thoughts thing, and I'll let your voice, your soothing voice, kind of start it off, and then we'll go from there.
So I pulled this out the other day, and I sent it to Cliff because it was a World Series game down in Atlanta, and I believe it was Game 4. It was Donald Trump doing the tomahawk. So I guess that's what they do in Atlanta.
Yep.
And they go, So
yep.
he was doing it, and it was an awkward video because he's doing it 90-degree angle like that.
Like a robot.
He looks at Melania or whatever, and he leans in and goes, "You got to start doing it too." I thought it was hilarious because of just Twitter. Twitter just goes all over the place. It was getting viral that night. So someone tweeted out and said, "That's it. I'm no longer a fan of the Braves. I'm a fan of Houston. Go Houston." And then someone subtweets and goes, "Well, if you like Houston, you like this person." It was Ted Cruz wearing a Houston Astros jersey. He goes, "Never mind. I don't like baseball anymore. I'm out." So it was funny to see the reactions from it. I will say this because as our show progresses over the next couple years, I said years, we're gonna get back into a political season, and then it's gonna everything mixes in together.
That's coming back.
Trump is doing his way to stay in, the spotlight without being on social media.
Yep.
Everyone still talks about him. He's still probably going to make a run for presidency in 2024. There was a point, about the Let's Go Brandon thing.
Yep.
Which means fuck Joe Biden. That was all popular in October. They were all chanting that in the stadium. He was smiling and laughing, and people got also realized that Georgia is usually a Republican state. I think did they go Democrat?
This was their first,
It was their first time.
Yep.
So him making an appearance there is also another way of kind of putting down a stamp of trying to win that state over.
Yep.
Let me support the home team and be there at the World Series. So I just thought the whole Twitter reaction was funny. I mean, people were just saying he probably dreamed of just holding his hand up straight up, for Nazis.
For Nazis. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Sports and politics don't ever mix together.
No.
I have another final thought. Have you seen Colin Kaepernick's trailer for?
No. Not yet.
Okay,
Talk about it.
Okay, well, I need to pull it out before because this is one of those tricky situations as a white Caucasian person talking about it because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Colin Kaepernick is coming out with something on Netflix, and he compared he compared the modern day football player to a slave, saying
He
that
stole that. I want to speak on it. I don't even. I don't need to watch it or hear it, but
he
I
had
I
a
have
video.
my thoughts on it.
I'll try to paint the picture. He had a video that showed players at a combine and how they're testing them out, and they see their height, their weight, and then he would transition to the slaves back in the 1800s or whatever.
When they were purchasing the slaves.
Yes, and he had that same kind of thing. It was kind of showing that owners are controlling these players.
Yep.
It's the dynamics that if he had lined up 8 or 9 football players, and if you're not the right look, you're out of here.
Okay.
Even though that they're just such still a specimen, and was trying to compare that the combine process and the NFL process is the equivalent of breaking down an individual to the point that they're just a slave to the white man, which is the owner. That's Colin Kaepernick's thing, and it's supposed to be coming out on Netflix soon or whatever like that. Some documentary that he's putting together.
So my thought on it is this. I think he probably took that from Adrian Peterson, who said this, I can't remember how long ago. Knowing former football players and knowing how contracts work, Adrian Peterson, at one point in time, being a running back, and he still is, was trying to get a super max deal for what football players would get. So he said that football players are like slaves. So I read into context, because I don't just read what they're just saying. I understood what he said simply because of this. Football players, when you see these headlines that this person's making these millions of dollars, they really don't. They get paid their signing bonus. And I know this because I had a couple friends that played in the NFL, one of which was able to, and I won't say a name because I don't need that going back to him and stuff, having to explain anything, but he was able to get himself a deal where he cashed in, I think it was $15 million. For you and I, that's a shitload of money.
Yeah.
But guess what? There's taxes involved, there's trainers, there's moving, this and the third. Is he well off? Yeah, because he was smart to invest and knew that he was a running back. Shelf life, I would think, of a running back is 2 to 3 years. What can you do? Just fast forwarded to what Adrian Peterson said. I can understand where he's looking at it and making trying to portray these two by saying you have a Caucasian person that owns said team. Majority of them are black, but guess what? They're white players too, that get these contracts for super cheap. And as soon as I don't like you, it's like Massachusetts, an at-will state. You're the fuck out of here if you want. I don't need to say anything. I just know I cut bait. I paid for what I needed from you, and you're gone. The comparison that Colin Kaepernick did as far as when slaves were sold, I think has a interesting parallel to it because guess what? If you're a quarterback, it's typically better for you to be fairly tall, to be taller than the guys in front of you that are tall linemen. So guess what? If I'm shopping, quote unquote, for a quarterback, or I'm drafting a quarterback, if that's better, I'm looking for a preferably tall, and now guess what? Mobile quarterback, one with the arm, IQ, blah, 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 blah. So him having that trailer that way, I think is obviously and I've never seen it. Anyone who's watching this, I'm going to watch it after.
Yeah, we'll watch it together.
I think it's just him trying to just light a fire under everyone because guess what? If there isn't any fire behind whatever product that you're putting out there or any movement, no one's going to know, no one's going to listen, and you're going to ask, what's the return on investment? Because there's money to be paid to create such product or media or production. So I'm interested to seeing what the follow-up is, what he has to say about it. I'm going to say it's somewhat genius on his part. I'm going to say it's going to be very irresponsible if he doesn't explain it well enough, especially in this climate that we're in right now. And that's really all I have for it at this moment. It doesn't mean that I can't change my mind. Facebook, YouTube, whoever, cancel culture, whoever's watching this, is just to say that I understand what he did. I'm interested in seeing how he follows up with it because now he has my attention. He obviously has your attention.
We're obviously talking about it.
And that's the
the
point,
whole
right?
Point. Yeah, whether it's negative or positive.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the attention on it.
Yep.
And obviously he's putting something together.
Yeah.
And it's Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be something that's worth watching, worth taking notes, and having a discussion about it afterwards.
And Netflix is not going to take any chances right now, especially with with the Dave Chappelle flack, which I give them a lot of props for standing their ground and not just allowing him to be canceled. Because if you actually really listen to just the special, and I've been following Dave Chappelle since, I don't even know, like very long ago, at least 15 years. If you watch every single special and what he's saying, he's never saying, hey, he doesn't like X group of people. What he's saying is that there's a miscommunication between said groups. They should come together. And his last thing that he put out, I don't want to derail our conversation here, but he was just saying that if you can come meet during his terms, and one of his terms was, hey, community that I'm offending, make sure that you've watched all my specials so that when we have said conversations that we can be on the same page, that we're not saying, oh, I heard from a friend, or I saw bits of this, or I saw bits of that, to formulate an educated opinion. So
I just want to go back on the Kaepernick thing as I pulled it up and I send it to you.
Okay.
These are the kind of reactions, the instant reactions you get to a minute and 30 video. This one, Matt Walsh, blue check mark on Twitter. Kaepernick spent half a decade crying the NFL teams wouldn't give him a shot, and now he's decided that actually being an NFL player is like being a slave. The dude is the most obvious and shame con artist in American modern history. Colin Kaepernick in the new Netflix special compares NFL training camps to slavery. This person said, Jason Whitlock, says that the way Colin Kaepernick portrayed his adoptive parents in his Netflix special is repulsive and wicked. Let's see. I'm trying to like read into it.
Yeah, I'm reading too.
Rashard McCants kept it 100. Kaepernick is a perfect example of I stepped in shit and I don't know how to wipe it off. I'm going to walk around with all this shit on my heels for the rest of my life. We're setting up our society to be led by leaderless, spineless clout chasers. Kaepernick had a lot of hate when this first came out in that snippet. And I really think that I want to give it a watch because I'm going to go in there open-minded. I'm going to go and listen to it. I can't just come out and start speaking on something on a behalf that I don't even know about. I never played in the NFL. I don't know how the process truly goes. I don't know what Colin Kaepernick has truly been through. You got to keep it with a kind of an open mind, and sometimes that's what you got to do. Even if Colin Kaepernick is not in the right, you know, at the end of the day, you still have to watch something and through his eyes, his shoes, put yourself in his moment, understand where he's trying to come and say where he's from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone comes from different perspectives and perceptions of life. We all treat things differently. If we all see something on the table, 5 items on a table, we're going to look at something differently. Like, I'm going to think something different. You're going to, even though it's the same object, we're going to think things differently. So it's just always keep an open mind. I'm going to watch it and just keep that open mind. And I'm not going to have this outrageous hate towards like Kaepernick. He has a platform. He's allowed to speak and speak his mind. It's the whole point of having social media.
And that's a great point. And there's not one single thing on this planet that I can say. I can say, hey, I love oxygen. I guarantee you there's going to be someone that's like, fuck that. I don't want oxygen.
Yeah.
We'll never all agree. Utopia does not exist.
No, it does
But
not.
what we can do is have conversations with each other to avoid saying nasty things that would offend another individual. If someone is watching this, right, and is offended or feels a certain way about what he's saying, maybe that's a conversation you might want to have with yourself or the person that's a different race than you, just to have more of an understanding. Again, I just think that he's lighting a fire. He's trying to get people to watch. Now let's see what he brings. What is he going to follow up with? And that's when I'll offer my simple opinion.
This person said, if the NFL is so barbaric that it's the equivalent of slavery, why would Kaepernick voluntarily be begging for an opportunity to be a slave again?
See, again, that's what I'm referring to. I think, again, people are missing the point.
It's a lot of knee-jerk reaction right away.
And that's the problem.
What it is.
And this is where we are as a society. I know that this is why we do this, because we give knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah.
We're excited 4-4.
Yeah, Trent
you know?
Brown, you suck. Yeah, Hightower, you suck.
You know, and then next week, interception. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go.
no.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to shit that's serious, because the game of football, it is a game.
Yeah.
It is entertainment for us. And we're just trying to enjoy ourselves, which we definitely do. But we're also trying to make money because it is a business, as these guys are trying to do as well.
Yeah.
And all they're saying is that they want their fair bag, like we're trying to get a bag. And that's really it. So don't judge people's pockets. Get out of people's pockets. Don't judge what you don't know. Maybe take a second to listen, and then you can state your statements. That's all I got for today,
What
man.
a productive night.
Yeah.
It's just-
Wow, this is pretty
It
deep,
went to
man.
the Boston Power an hour and a half.
Oh, my
Like,
God.
Well, there's a lot. These things happen.
Yeah.
These certain topics that are going to come up.
It's all right.
Come up, and we just have to have a little back and forth on.
All right, so what do you have planned for this week?
This week, just work.
Yeah.
Have a day off on Friday.
Nice.
Spend time with the girls.
Okay.
And then this weekend work again, and that's it. It's one of those weeks that's just kind of zoned in, and hopefully we're eating Big Macs at the end of the week. I
That's
want to
it.
get the third Big Mac in a row. So
I'm gonna give him a call. I want to put something up. I got a tat that I want to set up. So I'm gonna we'll talk. So I can set that up. But shout outs to him. You want to give his logo one more?
Yeah, at Milk Tats. He's always happy and grateful. He actually did the first Super Bowl tattoo. I was down in Good Morning Football, and he goes, "Listen," he knew I was going to be on TV most of that week, and Milk was like, "If there's one thing you can do for me, can you please plug me like on national television, right?" So the first time I was there, he was like, "Oh, like what is this?" I go, "Well, I have the Super Bowl 53 tattoo made by my guy, Milk Tats. Like, look at this thing." And he goes, and then the guy was like, "Well, before you start plugging your artist and this and that," but he loved it because you get the marketing in.
Yep.
And this isn't just some half-ass fucking tattoo either. He puts the time and effort into this. It was about 2.5 to 3 hours of doing this together just for this tattoo itself. And I know you can't really see it. But, I mean, there's plenty of pictures out there. If you go on my Instagram, The Spike King, you'll see it. Or go on Milk Tats, you'll see it on his Instagram, too. And not even that, you can see some of his past work and some of the clients he's worked with as well. So the great thing about Milk Tats is he's a traveling artist. Like, he has come to my house twice and actually has done 2 of my tats. The last 2 I've just gone to him. But he's always willing to meet wherever he's got to go. And it's clean. Very clean. Like, it's a very clean setup that everything he has. I know some people think a traveling artist, tattoo artist, they get scared because it's an open needle. Everything's clean. I've had 4 tattoos from him. I've had no issues. Like, and actually, this is one as good because the last 3 tattoos I've had have been all the open wounds because I had to use that in promotional videos and this and that. This one, he just put tape on. He's like, "Please don't touch it for a week."
Okay.
I was like, "Yeah, I don't need it for another week. I just needed it for that night." The taco tattoo, I was literally going to the game the next night to go see Taco play.
Oh, my God.
The day, and it was open. It's like an open wound.
Yeah.
I had to do that.
Yep.
I kept it clean, and like I've never gotten an infection or anything like that. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Milk
cool.
Tats.
All right, man. I'm out of here. It's like I said, we went over the hour, but we had some shit that we had to talk about, and that's okay, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clifford Bonet, and I'm excited to present once again
Spike King, Boston Power Hour at the CliffNotes Projects Studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been awesome. Y'all be good. Check